Hello, my name is Colin, and in this episode of Let's Learn Blender, we'll be talking about both Blender's Boolean Modifier and Blender's Intersect Boolean Tool. Both of these tools will let you take two objects, specifically mesh objects in 3D space in Blender, and combine them in different ways. In fact, there are three different ways you can combine two objects, three different operations. We'll be covering the union operation, the difference operation, and the intersect operation with both the Boolean modifier and the intersect Boolean tool. Two different ways of approaching the same three operations. As always, before I jump in, if you want to go ahead and click that like button, it really helps me out. If you want to see more videos like this one in either Blender or in the Godot game engine, click that subscribe and bell icon. All of those things really help me out. Thanks so much. Let's go ahead and jump in. In my 3D scene right now, you can see I have three sets of two intersecting objects. A cube intersected by a single cylinder. If I go up to the wireframe viewport shading button here and enable it, you can see a cylinder runs through the middle of a cube in each case. What I'm going to do here first, I'll go back into solid shading, is select my first cube. I'll go ahead and pan over and zoom in so we can see that a little bit better. If I select this cube object and I want to combine it with the cylinder, well, yes, they are in the same place and they look like they're together, but not only are they two separate mesh objects, but there's also internal geometry. Of course, I just showed that to you in wireframe mode. You can see there are faces in the middle of the cube. But if I'm going to do something like, say, 3D print these two objects as one, this is not going to work because these two objects intersect and they form what is called non-manifold geometry. What we want is manifold geometry, which means that it is geometry that has faces that only face outward on the outside of basically the shell or the surface of the object, which means you can't have any internal geometry, especially for things like 3D printing. So how do we solve this? Well, if I want to make one object out of the two, I can simply select one of the two objects and go over to my properties editor, and under the wrench tab, and by the way, the wrench tab is where you find modifiers in Blender. Modifiers, if not aware, are a way of adding a procedural change to usually a mesh object in Blender that performs a big change to the object that you can usually undo later unless you apply the modifier at a later point. Let me show you what I mean. Under the wrench tab with that cube selected, if I go up to add modifier, I'm going to add here the Boolean modifier. The word Boolean essentially means to operate with two different objects to combine them in different ways. And you can see when I click on Boolean, it adds this little section into this editor here, and you can have multiple modifiers, by the way, on the same object, and they will form what's called a modifier stack. When you apply modifiers or add modifiers onto an object, they get listed from top to bottom and they apply from top to bottom. So this modifier would be applied first. If I added another modifier later, it would go below, and so on and so forth. With this Boolean modifier added to this cube, I need to select a second object, and that's called the operand. Before I do that though, I'm going to choose one of these three operations: intersect, union, and difference, and that's why I have those three sets of objects in my scene. First, I'm going to use union, the middle option. Once I've checked that, I'll go ahead and select my second object. If I simply click in here, I can choose the object that I want. If I'm not sure its name, because I've left these with really bad default names, I can use this little eyedropper tool and click on it, and then I can simply click on the second object to use to combine with my cube. If I click on that cylinder, you can see something happen. To show you more clearly, I'll go up to wireframe viewport shading mode here, and with that same cube selected, if I orbit around, you can see hopefully that it has taken the cylinder and added it to the cube without having any internal geometry. You can see that here with the orange outline. The black shape is the original second operand shape. I'll go ahead and select it here now. Now, this modifier that I have added to my cube, it is working with the second object, the operand, in sort of real time. So if I don't want the cylinder to be merged with the cube right in the middle like it is right now, I could simply select that cylinder, use my move tool, and move the cylinder maybe over. And if I select my cube again, you can see that that cylinder is being added to the cube in a manifold way. And if I want to make this permanent, what I can do is, well, a modifier by nature is not a permanent thing. It means that you can always turn it off. That means if I press this little screen button, it'll hide the effects of the modifier and I can turn it back on here. If I want to make the effect of the two objects combined permanent, I can simply click on this little arrow and choose apply. But that's only, of course, when I want to make it final. So I'll click on apply. When I do that, you can see if I go ahead and select my original second object and delete it because I don't need it anymore, I'll press X on my keyboard and select delete. Now that that second object is gone, you can see better what's happening. I'll go back into solid view. And now you can see I have my two objects combined into one mesh object. And if I go back into wireframe viewport shading, you can see there's no internal geometry. It's one manifold shape. So that's the union operation. Let's move on to the second example here. I'll go ahead and select this cube and I'll go back to solid viewport shading there. If I select that cube and go to my wrench tab in the properties editor and go to add modifier, Boolean, this time I'm going to use the difference operation and I'm going to select that second object in the same way. I'll use this little eyedropper tool here, click on the second object, the cylinder, and now if I go into wireframe viewport shading, you can see what difference does. It takes the second object, in my case the cylinder, and uses it to cut a hole through the first object, the object that you're adding the Boolean modifier to. So if I go ahead and press apply under this little arrow, apply, and get rid of my second object, the original second object, and delete it with the X key, of course, and go back to solid viewport shading, you can see, hey, there's a hole cut in my cube. The third operation you can perform with the Boolean modifier is called intersect. So I'll go ahead and select my cube. I'll go up to add modifier, Boolean, of course. I'll select intersect, the first option this time. I'll select my second object using the eyedropper, of course, my cylinder. So hopefully, as you can see, what the intersect operation does is it only keeps the part of the two objects that are overlapping. So if I move my cylinder, my original second object over, you can see if I select my cube object again, it barely looks like a cube at all because it's only the part of that mesh that overlaps with the second object, the second operator. So if I go ahead and under the arrow, of course, press apply, and then I get rid of my original second object, I'll press X on my keyboard and click delete, of course, there's what's left over, just that little part of the cube where it overlapped with the cylinder. So as you can see, we have three different operations performed with the Boolean modifier: union, difference, and intersect. Now, not too long ago, Blender's Boolean tools actually got a pretty major upgrade. They got a new set of algorithms, a new solver that made the Boolean tool more accurate, especially in tricky situations. One tricky situation that often hampered or caused errors with the Boolean modifier was when you had co-planar planes. Now, a co-planar set of planes are two planes that are in the exact same spot. To achieve this, I'm going to go ahead and select my default cube in my scene. I'm going to press Shift D on my keyboard. Shift D, of course, duplicates a selected object. And then I'll press, while I have it grabbed now, I'll press Shift Z on my keyboard. When you press G or duplicate and then Shift Z, it will not move that object when you're grabbing and moving it around on the Z axis. So that's Shift Z. I'm going to move this cube, the second cube, over just a little bit and place it right there. So the two cubes are overlapping. But as I orbit around, you should notice that the overlapping parts on the top and on the bottom are sort of flickering. And that's because they're in the same spot. They're co-planar. So if I were to try to use the Boolean modifier a few years ago to merge these two cubes in different ways, any of the three operations, I believe, it would not work too well. Let's go ahead and select either one of them. And I'll go over to the wrench tab and add, of course, the Boolean modifier right here. And I'll go ahead and select that second cube. So now if I go up to wireframe viewport shading, you can see with that first cube selected, you can see the Boolean modifier is doing what it's supposed to. It's cut away using the second cube away from the first cube. And so if I go back into solid viewport shading and then I go over to my modifier and I apply it, you can see if I go ahead and delete that second cube, I'll go ahead and get rid of it. Well, the Boolean modifier did its job properly. If I go ahead and press Ctrl Z on my keyboard a few times to bring that modifier back, if I were to change the solver from the new exact solver over to the old fast solver, we would have a different story. If I go up to apply and then I delete that second cube now with the old solver, you can see it didn't really do its job. It got confused between those two planes, so it didn't get rid of really anything, although it did make some cuts in the mesh surface you can see. So I'm gonna go ahead and press Ctrl Z a few times, which brings my modifier back. If I want to solve this problem, I would have to select that second object before I apply the modifier. Maybe I'll orbit around so you can see it a little bit better. And then I would tap S on my keyboard to scale it up. And then I would tap Z, so S and then Z on my keyboard, and then move my mouse out to make it taller so the top and bottom aren't coplanar anymore. And then I could select my original object and go up to apply. And then I could delete that second object, of course. So maybe just know if you ever have any problems, I'll go ahead and press Control Z a few times on my keyboard to bring that modifier back. You have two options. If one isn't working very well, try the other one. Exact is the newer one. They're called solvers. Now you know. So now the question might arise, can I use multiple objects together, more than two objects with the Boolean modifier at the same time? Could I say, take this cube in the middle of my scene and cut away from it using all of these UV spheres that are intersecting with the cube all at once to, say, make something that looks a little bit like some Swiss cheese? The answer is yes, but only if you use what's called a collection. Now, a collection in Blender is basically a group that you can define, and you can add objects to that group. Collections are most easily visible up here in the outliner editor in Blender, and I'll go ahead and make the outliner a little bit taller so you can see that in my outliner I have a list of all the objects in my scene, but more importantly, you can see that it has a couple of collections. It has a scene collection as well as a collection that's in that scene collection. Now, by default, all the objects that you have in your scene by default and all the objects that you add to your scene like I have are in that default collection called collection. But if I go ahead and select, I'm going to go ahead and select the first sphere in this list, and then I'm going to scroll down with my mouse all the way to the bottom, and I'm going to hold Shift on my keyboard and select sphere 37. I've got 37 spheres in my scene. And so what that just did is, because I had the first one selected and I held Shift on my keyboard and selected the last one in the list, is it selected all of the spheres. If I now, with all the spheres selected, press the letter M on my keyboard, M brings up the Move to Collection little menu, and I'll select New Collection. I'll make a new collection for all of those selected spheres, and I'm going to call this group spheres. I'll type that in, and I'll press OK. When I do that, you'll see up in my outliner that there is now a collection called spheres, and I can collapse it to show you that there's now only 3 objects in my original collection and now a new separate collection called spheres. Having a separate collection lets you easily hide all the objects at once or even stop them from rendering all at once. If I were to press F12 or go up to render and render image, they would not show up right now. I'll leave that on though, because now I can select my default cube. I can go over to the wrench tab in my properties editor. I can go to add modifier and Boolean with that cube selected, and now I'll select the difference operation, and now instead of operand type object, I can change that to collection. Now I can simply click in this little area, select the collection called spheres. There's only 2 collections, so that makes it easy. And it took a little second there, but now you can see in my 3D viewport, if I switch to wireframe viewport shading, that I've got basically Swiss cheese. If I go ahead and apply that modifier, it's going to take a second. And then if I hide my original spheres and I go back to solid viewport shading, I have something that looks a little bit like Swiss cheese. What I might do here is right click on the mesh object and say shade smooth. That will not look good, but what I can do now is go over to the properties editor to this object data tab, and then under normals, I can select auto smooth, and that will make it so that the smoothing doesn't run over any edges that really shouldn't be smoothed over. I talked about this in one of my previous videos in this series. So there you go. I've got some Swiss cheese or so. So that was Blender's Boolean modifier, but of course, Blender has another way of performing those 3 same operations: union, difference, and intersect. This second way is called the Intersect Boolean Tool, and it works a little bit different. In fact, some of you might actually prefer this method, or it might work better in some cases. In order to use the Intersect Boolean Tool, you actually have to make both of your mesh objects into one mesh object first. So I'm going to go ahead and select my cylinder. I'll hold Shift on my keyboard, and I'll select my cube, and then I'll press Control J, of course. Control J joins the 2 meshes into one, but don't be fooled, because if I go into wireframe viewport shading, you can see this is not a manifold object. It's not been unionized. It's just 2 intersecting sub meshes or separate linked islands of faces inside of one mesh. If I go ahead and press Tab to go into edit mode, and I go back to solid view, in fact, in solid view, I'll turn on this little X-ray mode so you can see if I select one of the faces on the cylinder, and then I go up to select, and then select linked, and then linked. I'll leave that up on the screen for just a moment so you can see. Select, linked, and linked. You can see when I do that, it selects all of the linked faces from that one face that I just had selected. You can see now this cylinder is still intact and it's running through the middle of the cube. What I can do is I can select one of my two objects to use this Intersect Boolean tool. And no matter if I have vertex or edge or face selection mode enabled, it doesn't matter. If I go up to the face menu and then I select Intersect Boolean, when I do that, it's going to perform one of those three operations. The default, I believe, is the difference operation. So you can see it used the object or the sub-object that I had selected of the same mesh in edit mode to chop away from the other parts of that mesh. Now, it performed the intersect operation here, and that's because down here under my settings for the last operation that I just performed, there are the three options here. Intersect, which is the overlapping two parts, of course, union, which creates a manifold 3D shape out of the two objects or multiple parts, and difference, which cut a hole through, which was the default. It still has those two different solvers, the new exact solver and the older fast solver. So there you go. Again, it's under face and it's called Intersect Boolean. I'll go ahead and I'll undo that. I'll press Control Z, and then I'll go ahead and select one of the faces on my cube here. And then I'll go up to select and select linked and linked. By the way, if you just put your mouse over part of your mesh, when you're in face select mode, if you do this and then you press the letter L on your keyboard with your mouse over one of the faces, it should select all of the linked faces under your mouse cursor. I believe my mouse should have been over one of the dots you can see on the faces on my cube. So I'll put my mouse over that little dot and press L. There we go. So I've got the cube selected now. What I'll do is with that cube selected, again, there are parts of the same mesh here. I'll go up to face and intersect Boolean. And when I do that, it's performing it in the opposite direction. And by the way, I could have done that at any time, selected the opposite object to get a different result, obviously. I can now go down to the intersect Boolean last operation popover here, and I can select either union or intersect or difference. So now if I press tab to go back into object mode, I've got my finalized cylinder with my cube cut out of it. So there you go. So that's been an introduction to both the Boolean modifier in Blender as well as the Intersect Boolean tool. That will be it for this video though. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you made it to this part in this video, please go ahead and click on that like, subscribe, and bell icon below this video, especially if you want to help out me and my channel, or if you want to see more videos like this one in both Blender and in the Godot game engine. Check out my Facebook and Instagram pages for sneak peeks and previews of what I'm working on next on this channel. And of course, it's where I communicate with all of you the most, except here on YouTube, of course. Thanks so much again for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.